You won't be able to buy a new diesel or petrol car after 2040, as the government there tries to reduce air pollution. The new plan follows a ruling by judges that ministers must do more to clean the air. Britain's move follows a similar announcement in France, with lawmakers, at least in theory, eager to consign traditional cars to the history books. A brief time ago, I spoke with David Shepherdson, who covers the auto industry for Reuters. David, we've got these moves in Britain to get rid of diesel and petrol cars by 2040, following moves in France. Is the future going to be electric cars?
I think almost certainly so. The question is, how long will it take to get there? I mean, 23 years is still a long period of time, but auto companies are already making investments. Volvo just announced they're going to, starting in 2019, no longer build new model traditional cars. So this is the direction, but clearly there are a lot of concerns about, is the industry, the infrastructure, ready for such a big shift?
Right, because presumably we'd have to have plug-in points all over the place if we were going to suddenly all be driving electric cars. Does that infrastructure exist anywhere?
It certainly doesn't. And say in Britain, there's only about 12,000 infrastructure, charging points. In the U.S., there's a few more, but again, you need tens of thousands if you're going to have a rapid ramp up. I mean, it's only about 1% of U.S. vehicle sales are electric cars today.
Right, so let's just talk about the US, because obviously we know that President Trump is taking the US out of the climate change accord. He's not necessarily convinced about the arguments about reducing air pollution. How do you see the market developing here in the US from that 1% of electric cars we currently have?
Well, auto companies are making a big bet on electric vehicles. They're spending billions of dollars. But right now, the shift has been away from cars toward sport utility vehicles and bigger vehicles, in part due to low gas prices. So auto companies are going to continue to roll out EVs as batteries get better, longer range, meaning you'd be less concerned about running out of juice and be able to go a few hundred miles without a charge. So they're not moving away from electric vehicles, but they're still, in the short term, focused on bigger and more profitable vehicles.
Yeah, we're seeing interesting moves by these mayors, aren't we, across the world. Paris, Madrid, Mexico City, Athens, they all plan to ban diesel cars from city centres by 2025. Are you seeing anything like that happening here in the US?
Nothing like that, but you have seen a lot of auto companies move away from diesels entirely here. Volkswagen said it won't sell diesels here. Mercedes-Benz earlier this year dropped plans to seek approval to sell diesels. And remember, there's a big investigation by the EPA into diesels, like Fiat Chrysler, like Daimler, as well. Obviously, the Volkswagen investigation is going on. So, companies are moving away from diesel, but in the short term, they are pushing electric vehicles, only to a certain extent. I mean, clearly Tesla is by far leading the push.
And how about consumers? I mean, what's it going to be like for us driving electric cars rather than the traditional gas guzzler? What's the experience going to be like? I mean,
people argue, well, one, the actual performance of electric cars is better, faster, 0 to 60 time. I think it's going to be like getting used to plugging in your cell phones everywhere, right? I mean, once you get into that habit, actually being behind the wheel is really no difference. The question is, will there be enough places to charge? Will it be easy enough? Remember, with fast charging, you could basically get almost a full charge in about 10 minutes, by the time, a little longer than it takes to fill up your car with gasoline.
What about the energy implications? I mean, where are we going to get enough electricity from to power all these cars?
It's huge. Are we going to make sure people will charge at night so we can balance out the grid? I mean, there are huge long-term implications from going from, the 85,000 vehicles sold this year to millions of vehicles. And then what happens if we have serious grid problems? So, no, it's going to require more money, more infrastructure, more planning. But companies like Volkswagen are, under this settlement, required to spend $2 billion to improve infrastructure and add more charging stations. So the move is going there. The question is, what's the ramp up, and is 2040 realistic?
David Shepherdson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
You're watching